Welcome to Allies or Enemies. Today we are talking about Cyclades Legendary Edition. Our copy was provided for review, but the thoughts in this video are all our own. Designed by Ludovic Maublance and Bruno Cathala, Cyclades is a 2 to 6 player game that combines bidding and area control as it pits players against each other as they try to take control of the legendary Greek archipelago by appeasing the various gods and enlisting both heroes and creatures to their cause. And this new Legendary Edition updates the classic game by combining the original with elements of various expansions and also streamlines the whole experience. But we'll get back to that in a moment. First, let's start with how it plays.
You start the game with a randomly arranged map with a few of your troops and ships placed strategically around it, and a few gold hidden behind a screen. Each round, you gain income from the places you control, and then in turn order make offerings to the gods who will give you actions. If someone offers more than you, you have to offer to another god instead, which may then bump someone else. And if you can't afford to outbid anyone else, or if you don't want to, you may have to offer to Apollo. Once the bidding is settled, players take their actions. The key thing the players are trying to do with these actions is to form and control 3 metropolises, which can be done by either building 4 different kinds of buildings on the map, gaining 4 philosophers, completing a hero's quest, or taking someone else's metropolis by force. Athena lets you build universities and gain philosophers. Ares lets you build barracks and build and move armies which may attack, which is done through simple combat that adds a die roll to unit/building strength. Poseidon lets you build harbors and build, move, and attack with your ships. Zeus lets you build temples and recruit priestesses who make bidding cheaper. He also lets you recruit creatures at a discount. Hera lets you build one of any building and recruit mercenaries and heroes which will bolster your armies. And Apollo gives you money and lets you boost your economy for future turns. Almost all of these gods also allow you to recruit creatures who will cause chaos in a whole mix of ways. The game continues until someone manages to gain their 3rd metropolis, and then the favorite of the gods is named.
Cyclades was always a fairly replayable game due to the ever-changing nature of combat and dice rolls and bidding on the gods. But the Legendary Edition adds quite a few new bits for a bunch more variation. First of all, there is now a 6th god, Hera, who focuses on 2 of the new elements. The mercenaries, who work a bit like extra fighters with some small tweaks, and the heroes, who are part of an expansion for the original game. All of the heroes are unique with different powers, and often with sacrificial quests, which can turn them into metropolises, making for some unique paths to victory. And there is now a variable map, which can be changed each game, and that does make more of a difference than you might imagine. There are also some rules tweaks like instant bonuses for metropolises, predictive god cycling, and a more dynamic bidding track, all of which add some interesting layers while making things run a bit smoother.
Like Perseus said when he met Medusa, let's cut right to it. Cyclades really is at its best at 4 or 5 players. At those numbers, you get the most out of the bidding for the various gods and the shifting wars on the map. Also, the time scales pretty well at higher counts because nothing destroys metropolises, so every one that gets built brings the game closer to the end. It's just a matter of who's going to end up controlling them. So 90 minutes to 2 hours is a very doable playtime if everyone knows the rules. 3 players also works and moves a bit more quickly if you're impatient like me. But there will be fewer bidding wars and wars. There is also a 2-player version that has each player controlling 2 different factions, and it works okay. Not quite replicating the multiplayer game, but still good in a pinch. Though we actually prefer a variant that we found over on Board Game Geek. Also similar to the 2-player version is a team play 4-player version that has players joining forces with an ally, or an epic team play 6-player version. We haven't had an opportunity to play that yet, however.
This is a pretty game. The map tiles are all bright and colorful with fairly well-defined borders between regions. The wooden troops and ships and markers are all nice quality. The coins are nice and chunky, the player screens stand up well, and have helpful player aids on the back. The monsters and heroes all have individual standees, which work fine, but can be upgraded to separately sold minis if you so choose. And the cards and boards are all clear. The couple of small complaints we have is that we do sometimes find it a bit hard to figure out our income or buildings with so much on the board. There is a flip side that clarifies these, but it is very beige, and the insert can spill a bit if you store vertically. But these are very small nitpicks in a solid production with a heck of a table presence.
If you're choosing between Cyclades Legendary or the original, there's no question. We would go with this new version. The additions are solid pretty much across the board. If you're deciding if you want to upgrade from the original, this is kind of like adding a streamlined version of the expansions with a few small omissions. And if you don't know if you'd like Cyclades at all, like the Chimera, it is a bit of an interesting mix of a game. While it is very much an area control game with troops and battles, the bidding phase really is the heart of the game, with much of the area control being mostly about building your economic engine to strengthen your bids in the future. There is also a nice gradual arc that sees more money and metropolises added all the time, which helps ramp the game up to its inevitable conclusion. Though it should also be mentioned that the battles are very simple, which we liked, though others may want a bit more depth. And occasionally a creature or a hero can really swing the game in a big way, which again we liked, but occasionally can be jarring. In the end, this is really a game for people who like economic games but don't mind people messing with their plans, or people who like area control but are happy to have that rely on an economic engine, or best of all, people who like both bidding and area control and see this as the perfect team-up like Perseus and Pegasus. But either way, it is a fairly unique experience and one Pandora's box that we think is well worth opening. And that is it. Have you played Cyclades? What did you think? And what other hybrid area control games would you recommend? Please let us know in the comments, and please do like and subscribe. And hopefully we'll see you all next time for another game.